Am I starting?
Yes, go. This is your... You like to talk about this.
Welcome to a on-the-road broadcast. We've moved 30 metres downstairs. We're going to do an episode or a pod, or what do you call these things?
An episode,
An episode about products that we actually really enjoy and we want to sell and we feel good about selling, and like the whole ethos of Borders, which was sell what you love. So we want to talk about a few of the products that we really like. And Claire didn't know about this until 10 minutes ago, so she's going to be on it.
Which is a new theme to these podcasts.
Yeah, thinking on a theme. But I think you should start.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge. I'll do the first one, but while I'm doing it, you got to think about what you're going to go find.
Okay.
That you really feel good about selling, or something that's sort of changed the game for maybe women in snowboarding. We'll do snow tonight.
Yeah.
Skate's kind of, it's hard to do this for skate because like it's personal opinion
And
thing.
time of year is,
And
we're very snow focused right now, our mindset.
And skate, I'd hate to ever tell anyone what's right or wrong with skate because they just know. So that's whatever works for you in skateboarding. But snowboarding, there's fundamental differences. So while you're trying to find something,
okay,
I'm going to talk about a game changer product. And I know I've talked about this on little shorts and YouTube things before. But yeah, I'm going to talk about a full-on game changer product for people that want a step-on, step-in system that doesn't require a crazy boot. This thing. I'm going to use the white one so you can see it better. You better go find a product while I talk to the people.
Okay, I'm thinking, I want to hear what you've got to say for the second, third time, even though I already know it.
This product is currently, like we've decided this year, because no one's spending money, to help you guys out a bit. And we've put this thing on sale, pretty big time on sale. So instead of it being $730, it's $599, which makes it a really reasonably priced product. Like you can't buy a good binding for under $400 anyway. So this thing is a step-in system that you don't need a special boot. You just get any boot, the current boot you have, put it on, step into it, and go snowboarding. It's super simple. It's dual entry, so you can enter through that system. Or you can just use it like a normal binding. If you're in deep powder or something and you get stuck, you can just use it like a normal binding. So it's got kind of everything. And its straps work really well. You can kind of ride the straps fairly loose. You don't even need to crank the hell out of it to ride it. It's such a simple system. There's a video that I don't know if it's on our Instagram somewhere, of a girl.
There's heaps on Nidecker's Instagram as well.
You can go check it out. It's a Nidecker product. It's called a Supermatic. There's a video of a girl on the snow, literally has both the bindings open and she literally jumps into the board, which I'm not saying you should go home and try that because it'd probably be harder than it looks. But she just jumps straight in, both feet, bang, rides off. Crazy.
One of those things, it's like, we're professionals here. I don't recommend you do this at home.
Don't try this at home. Yeah, this thing is a game changer. Like if you're looking for a step on, this is it. The rest of them, I don't think are fundamentally as good. Like they rely on the boot and this doesn't. This relies on itself. It's just a basic step-in system. It takes parts from the old Flow system. These guys actually bought Flow to make this product, and Nidecker own basically everything now. They've become a really big player in snowboarding. I think they're the biggest.
It's been kind of cool to like on Nidecker's Instagram, they've got heaps of videos and like guys are hitting like massive kickers and like riding the park with these bindings.
Yeah, it has no downside. Like if you want to talk about any downside at all, it's slightly heavier, but who cares? Like weight does not matter that much. So it's not different enough to make you scared of riding it in the park. It's not different enough to be concerned about deep snow or trying to get back into it if you come off in deep powder. And I think the other step-on systems, the Burton one and the Clue or whatever it is, that one where half the binding comes out, there's so many potential problems with both of those in deep snow, and you're hearing about it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this is still a normal binding.
Yeah, it's a normal binding that has a quick system to get in.
Yeah.
And that's what we've all been looking for. So for me, that's my game changer product for 2020, for 2024. It's been around for a while now. We haven't had a single warranty, haven't had a problem with them. So yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't buy it if that's what you're looking for. It's funny that I say all this because one of my other products tonight is a binding, and I'll tell you why I think it's the best product we sell. But if you want to step on, this is great. So get one. What are you coming up with?
I'm not really following your rules, but I'm going to get...
Cool. So you're throwing my format out the window before we started, and she's gone. Where's she gone? Oh, I know what she's going to do. She's picked a product that even I like.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
let's have it.
How do we do it? The abstract. The
Salomon abstract.
Salomon abstract. For God knows how many years, I was in love with the Salomon Gypsy, which was my favorite girls board. It's probably the only board in the history of my riding that I've gone back to year after year after year so many times. And Salomon has brought it back in a different way. So this is a unisex board. And it's the first of its kind where the flex of the board is dictated by the size of the board. So it's not the same flex through all the different sizes. The smaller sizes are slightly softer, the larger sizes are slightly more. So it's very much dependent on the size, which makes it the perfect unisex board, and they've modeled this off the Gypsy and the Villain.
Yeah. They got rid of the Villain and the Gypsy and built this.
Yeah, they combined those two boards and made this board. And I'm stoked because I have loved the Gypsy for so many years. It was a board that I rode all mountain and through the park and loved it. Whereas since that disappeared, I've had a park board and an all mountain board and never one that I would kind of combine, and I would switch between them. Whereas previous to that with the Gypsy, it was my one board, do everything. And so I'm stoked.
It's a great board. I'd ride this happily. Some tech on it. It's got a giant rubber pad under from foot to foot, so it dampens any vibrations. It's basically full of tech. So a lot of the women's boards, they just pull all the men's tech out, and that's unfair. So there's a lot of women's boards that are for beginners, intermediates, and it's there's stuff going on in them, but nothing. This is a full-on intermediate advanced snowboard. Yeah, it's a really good board. That's a cool choice of product. I'd be happy with that one. You keep talking about that thing, and I'm going to find my next product.
Your next thing.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Oh, should I do? Yeah, okay.
I've just broken the rules, so do whatever you want.
I'm going to do whatever I want. Right.
It's going to be a little chaotic as per usual.
Yeah. I'm going to
as per our brain.
Yeah, no shit. This product is another binding. I'm a bit of a binding person. I love bindings. I've always loved bindings. I've always wanted to know what the latest, greatest binding tech is. And that kind of stopped for me a few years ago when I found this. The Salomon, we're Salomoning. The Salomon Highlander or any of the Salomon Shadow Fit bindings have this heel cup. It's got Kevlar strings that run from the heel cup through to the front of the binding. This product is the one I feel more confident selling, and it's been proven over and over and over now that if you are a binding guy or you understand the fundamentals of what makes a modern snowboard work, which is torsional flex.
Can you explain that a little bit to the people who don't? Because so many of our customers come in and go, what's the difference between a good binding and not a good binding? So can you do, you've got so much binding knowledge in your brain.
Yeah, all right. I can tell you the difference. I'll show you the difference. between a good. I'll show you the difference within their own range. So Salomon, because they don't shy away from the fact that they do bottom end as well. So this is a Salomon Rhythm. This binding here is called a Salomon Rhythm. It's. I was going to say.
Get one in
something.
between.
No, I don't need the in between. I can explain how bindings work pretty well with this. So this binding here, for the money, it's a great binding. It's a $2.99-ish binding. It's got a rock hard base plate. So there's basically this thing, if you grab it and you try and twist it, nothing much happens. It's pretty solid. It doesn't really move. So all the flex is in the high back. So there's a problem with that. Like you just talked about the abstract. If you go and grab that abstract and twist it from edge to edge, it'll move quite a lot. So the torsional flex of the board is significant. If you go and put a rock hard flat plate in 2 spots on that board, you're messing with the torsional flex of the board. So you go and buy this high-end board, this beautiful thing, and then you make it dead by putting 2 flat.
So a lot of people obviously
binding.
flex the board to know the flex, but it also torsionally flexes that way as well.
Yeah, boards don't just flex from tip to tail. That's back in the 90s, everyone would walk in and flex the boards from tip to tail. Like they'd stick their knee in it, and because they barely bent, so you have to like really give it to flex them. Most of the boards flex a lot more now. They're really soft. But the thing that makes the modern boards work is the camber and the torsional flex. So a good board has a delicate balance between all these things. But you can kill them with bindings. If you put a shitty binding on them, you just kill all of that.
Yeah. So once you're a good rider, you'll start to steer your snowboard with your front foot.
With your feet.
Yeah. And
Just in
so
general.
your front foot will be steering, and so your board's actually torsionally flexing into the turns.
Yeah, you're not necessarily just going toe side, heel side, toe side, heel side. You can twist the board through a turn. So you can start to get the initiation of the turn with your front foot, and then your back foot follows it rather than just instant up and down. If you use a binding like this, generally it's just on or off. There's not a lot of play. It has so much of the bindings contacting the board that...
Which is why a binding like that is good for someone who's learning, because they're learning that edges motion.
I think a learner should buy high-end stuff too,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like they'll benefit from that down the road. But I mean, not everybody's got the money. So if you want to improve on rental gear, then this is the way to go. But in reality, if you buy this straight away and pay the extra $200, you'll probably be a better snowboarder for it. Like it's no downside to learning with a good set of bindings. The boards don't matter as much at that point because you don't really understand what you're feeling. So yeah, definitely. Anyway, back to the bindings. The reason I think this product is mind-bogglingly good is the way the board... This is where it all gets really confusing.
We can probably...
You don't feel the binding. The beauty of this product is you pay $500 and it's not there. It's nuts. I know that sounds crazy, but what you will feel is your boot and the board.
That's it.
And that's it. So you get back to that raw feeling of like your foot on a board.
You're feeling
the $1,000 that you have under your feet,
Yeah.
which is the snowboard. You don't want to feel the thing that connects you to the snowboard. You want to feel the board. You've bought a high-end board. You don't go putting the worst quality binding on it. So this thing is incredible. It gives you the same response as any other binding. From toe side to heel side, it's still got a ton of response. It's not a soft high back. It's not going to collapse. It's torsionally, the high back will flex like a park binding basically. But from here to here, it's rock solid. And then all of this frame can move as well. So everything, I don't know if you can see that, but the whole frame can flex. So you basically got this binding not creating a dead spot on your board. It allows you to get the power where you want it and gets the responsiveness where you want it, not in spots that you don't need it. So I think this arguably is the product I'm most confident selling. Every single person who's come and bought these basically sells the next set for us by telling their mate, hey, you're going to have a different riding experience if you go buy Salomon Shadow Fit bindings. They're insanely good. They start at like $420, I think, for the district, and
Yeah.
they go up to $499. So they're not in that. Some binding brands these days are hitting $650, $700 for carbon and all this fucking stuff you don't need. I used to chop and change my bindings between boards. Like I'd have a different board binding combo for certain things. Like my powder setup would be different to my carving setup. Now, regardless of what board I'm riding, I just ride this binding. I just move it from board to board. And they are, when we were talking about weight before, these things are so light. They're ultra, ultra light. So you literally don't even know the thing's there. I love them. Board, what is it? Salomon, Highlander, Shadow Fit binding. Get some.
go.
Come and talk to me about them. If you don't really understand what I'm saying,
How many years do you reckon you've been riding them now?
I think I got mine pre-pandemic. I think we did a couple of trips, or at least a trip to Japan with them before the pandemic, and at least one or two since. So, yeah, I wouldn't, man, if they stopped making it, I think the patent's got years to go on it. So it's not likely to get, this patent's not likely to get used by anyone else. Everyone else is trying to do this. If you
Eliminate the dead spot?
Yeah, but they're all trying it in different ways. If you look at different bindings, some of them try to do it through the base plate. Some of them try to do it through kingpins and moat, like the now bindings move underneath your foot, and they've got polyurethane corners. So there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat, but I think these guys have nailed it. I don't think anyone's done it better than what Salomon have done it.
It's an interesting analogy.
There is 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I know all the sayings.
Don't.
You're up.
Okay. Product I feel really confident in selling is, I'm looking at it and I'll go grab it.
Oh, she's gone again. I'll stay here and entertain you.
I can't grab it all.
What do you mean, grab it all? We'll be back in frame soon.
Is Quicksilver outerwear. For instance, this pant is 2020. Is it? Yeah, 20K waterproofing. Don't know about the
Good that
readability.
you know your product.
Yeah, and $279 retail. I think we're doing sales at the moment, but but value for money that you get in this brand is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
good. Hey?
a 20K pant for under $300 is very...
Well, they say Gore-Tex is what, 20 or something?
28, something like that.
Yeah.
And this is a Gore jacket,
Full Gore.
full Gore, for $500.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
Quicksilver stuff's awesome.
Yeah, like Gore jackets can be getting up there now, like $600-700.
Try 1,200.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's getting so crazy.
So value for money and what you get in terms of like waterproofing, and the style's sick. The cuts and the colors and the styling of it is pretty cool. It's like modernized and 90s vibe.
90s vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
So-
is the stuff I grew up riding in, like
Like-
surf brands and like all the quickie stuff. And
Yeah, they've got like a range that's really cool, like popovers, 90s styles, and then the stuff that's not that really out there is like really cool, just colors. You know when you can get shades of colors that are just like, you're like, oh, that's a little bit off.
No, they're
They've
pretty
nailed
good.
it,
They're doing
I
really
reckon.
well. All right, I'm up. This is a product that I'm excited to sell. It's one that you're going to have to be pretty old to know what it is, because it's a brand from the 90s, while we're on the 90s theme.
Yeah.
It's a brand that's from the 90s and has made a comeback. It's Joyride snowboards. These things look to be
It's probably going to be really...
really, you
it
probably
would
get a
look
lot of shine off it.
Do you have one out of the plastic?
No, I don't. I might find a different colour. Might not be as shiny.
That would look really nice out of the plastic.
Yeah, it looks pretty shitty in the plastic, but out of the plastic, it's going to look cool. Here's another one, different colour. It reads a bit better. The thing that's got, firstly, it's a 90s brand, so I'm excited to sell it.
This is a first time.
They're coming out of the Playmaker factory. It's first time since, I don't know
When did the brand stop? Because this is the first time I'm seeing them.
Yeah, well, you weren't born probably. What year were you born?
92.
Yeah, that's the heyday for these guys was probably round then. That's when they were huge. If you're at 50, you probably remember Slingshot Boy and the flower pot, like that Dr. Zeusy looking flower pot. These guys are running these as a heritage edition board this year. It's their first full year back. It's definitely their first year back in Australia. I think they've done a season in the States already. Like I was saying, they come out of the Playmaker factory, but the thing that seems to be unique about them, and the thing that I like, they're priced really well, like $800 retail, and they are running what I would call almost a 90s shape. They're not running that crazy rocker out vibe that you're getting with a lot of boards. They look like almost a regular camber.
So when you say that, you're talking about the camber. I'm sorry, the people who aren't as savvy with snow knowledge, I'm just trying to make sure it's explained.
Yeah, cambers have changed a lot over the years. They used to look like the Harbour Bridge, and then all of a sudden they look like the banana, and then they went hybrid where they had a wiggle in them, and most brands have come back to some kind of basic camber. Most of them are running what I would call a micro camber with big heavy rocker at tip and tail. This thing is less like that. It looks more traditional. It's obviously got modern tech in it, and it's not as savage as the 90s boards, but I think you'll find, and from all reports, it rides pretty much like a normal snowboard, which is when I say normal, old school feeling board. So if you're looking for a board that's going to carve, but has a modern softness to it, flex to it, this is it. It's going to cover all bases, and that's super cool. We haven't had a product that I've felt like that was the case for a long time. You kind of either buy a carving board or you have to go search for a soft park board, and that's not necessarily what this brand's about. This brand, all their riders are really good park riders, but you can just carve around the hill on this and have a good time. So I'm super excited to sell it. I think it's going to do really well. It's like that's not a stiff snowboard. So if you can see that from there, if you're listening, you're just going to have to trust me that it's actually quite a soft board. And there's softer board. The Slingshot Boy model, which I'll grab, is softer again. We've got a plethora of colours of these coming. But this one's softer even still, so it's even softer. That's going to be heaps of fun to ride, that board. So yeah, if you want something old but new, Joyride. These things, I am excited to ride one of these. The factory that they're coming out of is Playmaker, and it's known to make good snowboards. They don't have any rubbish coming out of there. So yeah, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. You got another product?
I do.
I've just thought of another one I want to talk about.
Okay. What is it?
No, you go.
Okay. Well, I was looking at boots. I can't really talk about the boots that I ride.
Why is that, Claire?
Because we don't sell them.
Why is that, Claire?
Because they're $1,000.
$1,000 snowboard boots.
Yeah.
We just are not there yet. Like, they're starting to become more expensive, but $1,000 seems a tad excessive.
Something that has changed the game in my boot is Joey's custom footbeds. And that, like, I wear orthotics in my shoes, so I've always had to deal with, like, my arches and stuff like that. Having these footbeds in my boot has been amazing. Even though my boots are a very high-end boot, and they have a really high-end liner, a lot of the time the footbeds that come in a boot are like just a thin piece of sole, and they don't really do anything. They have so much tech going in around them, and then for a footbed you just get a thin slither of foam, and it's so stupid. So I'll
pull one out of a boot and you can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I've switched my footbed to these, and it has been amazing. It's helped with like heel lift, it's helped with arch support, and just the comfort of the boot too. So
yeah, they're awesome. I've ridden a footbed for years. I don't have one of Joey's, but I've got a footbed that I replaced immediately, and I always do now. I don't ride any of the factory footbeds. They just don't make a quite high enough quality product.
But it's crazy because like there's so much going on when you're snowboarding with like angles and foot position. Like I remember when I started riding like canted footbeds and stuff and the difference that made.
Here's the difference. I don't know. I mean, people are listening, right? So they can't see it. But I've got one that I can fold up like a... You can do this with it. This product only has flex there. The rest of the thing that molds to your foot is rock solid. So it doesn't collapse.
And then if you can see the difference.
Yeah, they're not even...
It's crazy.
They're not in the same world. So... Massive, big tip for anyone buying a snowboard boot is spend the money and get a footbed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you buy it from us or from the man on the moon. Just buy a footbed there.
Makes a huge difference, especially like, because in every shoe I wear, I put orthotics into it. So it's like...
And just so you know, I just pulled that out of a $550 boot.
Yeah.
That didn't come out of like a bottom end piece of junk. Maybe more. I'm not even sure how much that boot is. But
yeah, I think it's $550.
Yeah, didn't come out of junk. That's what you're getting.
And it's probably maybe 8 mil.
No, not even 4 or 5 mil. It's tiny.
Yeah, under a centimetre thick of foam.
Under half a centimetre.
Putting a footbed in your boot definitely changes the game with your foot and boot combo.
Yeah, you'll notice it straight away. Yeah. It'll improve your riding and it'll make you comfortable over an 8-hour period. Which is something that you can't, like, there's no better thing to get out of snowboarding than being comfortable all day.
And it's crazy when like most liners now mold to the shape of your foot. So you've got all of the sides all around your calf, the top of your foot, all molding to your foot, and then you've got nothing under your foot where
it's nuts.
You're pressing all day.
Yeah, the bit that is most important is under your foot, and they put the worst part in. I'm going to need someone with smaller hands to do that.
Okay, that's me. So that's
This is I think my fourth and final product. I thought I would pull out something that I'm kind of getting more and more passionate about every year, which is goggles. The reason I'm saying I'm getting more and more passionate about it, we kind of made a conscious decision as a business the start of this year in January or whenever we do our ordering. I can't remember. It might have been last year.
So as much as our like motto for the company is sell what we love, it's short and simple, but it's true.
It's what we run the business based on, right? I don't want to sell products to you as a consumer or a customer or a friend or whatever that I wouldn't use myself. And the goggles that we were selling were starting to head towards $500. And I'm not going to lie to you, there is no way in the world I am paying $500 for a set of goggles. I don't care what you say it can do. Goggles are goggles. If they fog up, they're going to fog up. And some of the $500 goggles that were being released, I've used those brands and they fog up. They were no different. You hit your face into the powder and pull your head out and a bit of water gets
inevitable.
in. They're going to fog up. It doesn't matter what price you pay. Goggles will fog if you have a big off and get snow in them.
The best analogy is a car windscreen. At the end of the day,
it doesn't matter if you're driving a Lamborghini or a Hyundai.
When the temperature changes massively, it's going to affect
except you don't have a demister. So basically what we did, we made the conscious decision to start supporting brands that we thought, A, were priced better, and B, were making products that were really good and still have the same tech as these insanely overpriced big brands. So we ditched a couple of brands. I won't even bother saying who we've ditched, but the brands that we are selling are available in the store. So if you want to find out what they are, go on the website, whatever. Some of the brand, there was some decisions made based on price, and one of the brands we dropped because we got so sick of dealing with the 40 different ways that they were attaching their lenses that we were actually breaking them trying to sell them. Like we were pushing things the wrong way or the locks would snap off, and it just got so stupid that we ditched it.
Yeah. So
the brands that we've decided to stick, I'm just going to talk about this brand. This brand that we've decided to stick with is a person who was a guest on this podcast earlier on called Pete. Modest goggles. These guys are running magnets just like any other high-end brand. Lens quality just like any other high-end brand. They're not running cheap foam through the top, so you don't accidentally put your finger through it when you're trying to change your lens. They're running everything that the high-end brands have, and this product sells for $150.
Comes with two lenses.
It doesn't.
You don't have to pay extra for the second lens.
Yeah, if I'm going to throw a public notice warning or whatever the fuck those things are called, PSA out there, the Instagram brands are full of shit. They sell you a product that's $150 and they go, they don't say it comes with a second lens.
They say you can change your lens.
Interchangeable lenses, $150.
And then you've got to pay another $130.
$120 extra or $90 extra to get the second lens. So they're not $150. These genuinely are $150. Come with a low light and a normal lens, and they're a high quality product that works. And yeah, and am I going to sit here and say they'll never fog up? No, because if you slam your face in the snow, goggles will fog up. Am I going to say that they will fog as much as any other goggle? Yeah, they're exactly the same. Every product is the same. I've got probably 3 or 4 different pairs of goggles. I think I've got a pair of Spies in my bag. I've definitely got a pair of Modest in my bag. I can't remember. I've definitely got those 2 brands. One of them would be $350, like the high-end Spies that I've got. And these are $150. I've worn them equally and I've had no significant difference in performance. I love the Spy product. I think they make really, really good product. But so do these guys. And you're paying half the price. So in a time where cost of living is a concern, I just saved you $300. So come and get some of these. That's me, done. I'm finished. My product, they're my 4. I'll rattle off another 24 if you want, but this will go for hours, so we won't do that.
Okay. This is me on the
Actually,
spot.
I do have one more I want to talk about. You go, though.
Go.
No, you go.
Okay.
It's your turn. Oh, she's gone. Where's she going? Interesting.
Yeah.
I might not talk about my next one now.
You can.
Okay.
Because there's heaps of products in the shop. But for me, it'd be salmon arms. They're the gloves that I'm riding at the moment. They're beautifully made. Yet to see a warranty on them. They're made with, like, some of them have beautiful soft leather on the palms. All come with these things, which is a must for me because I just get onto a chairlift or a T-bar, and I just throw my gloves off and don't care about it. So I have to have things to attach them. And yeah, they come in just like cool, funky styles. They're long ones, short ones. They're just doing cool retro shit, and I really like the brand. And the waterproofing on them is really good. It's got like a membrane layer, and it's called
Gore-Tex.
Gore-Tex or something like that. So essentially, it is, without using the name, Gore-Tex.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but it's similar.
It's similar. It's like a membrane that goes underneath the fabric, and
everybody's got good waterproofing now.
Yeah.
Like, it's Gore-Tex as a brand name is obviously holding the power in the market, but you pay a lot for it.
Mad style.
They are cool.
But yeah, sick
Good
gloves,
quality.
and yeah, they're my Japan and here gloves.
I'll back that up because I had a pair of the mitts in Japan and almost lost my mind when I thought I lost them. I thought I'd left them.
You actually full went into like panic mode, and you went,
dude, I can't believe I've lost them.
I don't think I've seen you skits out that much about a pair of gloves ever before.
I was bummed. I was
You're
like,
sort of ripping the whole car apart.
Yeah. Well, all I had, my option was like a pair of really short Volcom gloves. That's the only other pair I had with me. And I was like, I am not going to go pay retail for a set of mitts. I had tiny little cuffed Volcom gloves that are great for Australia, but they were not ideal when it was a metre deep.
Your salmon arms are like big kitchen mitt gloves.
Big, long
they're
ones.
like so cool.
90s vibes. I'll do one more product, and I'm not doing this as a single product. I'm just going to grab the first thing with that brand name on it and talk about it as a brand and again, like go into why we sell this product and why we back the brand. That is, I'll just grab the closest thing. I'll just grab that. Dakine. These guys, we've sold this brand for, I don't know, years and years and years. Early 2000s, I think, we started selling Dakine. So 20, I'd say 20 plus years. I think in 20 plus years, we are yet to actually warranty a product. I cannot, for the life of me,
I've never handled a Dakine warranty.
No, I cannot think of a time where a Dakine product was warranted. I don't think we've ever done it. So that's 20 years. Like we would have sold thousands of Dakine products in that time. And I'm not saying that it's impossible for a product to break, but from a manufacturing quality perspective, they just don't. They just don't have issues. So if you want a board bag, a backpack, a boot bag, a set of gloves, they do Gore-Tex gloves, normal gloves. They do wax. They do all sorts of shit. They do like stomp pads and little accessories. And
I think I've had my Dakine roller bag for, 10 plus years now.
Yeah, well, I've had my fucking Rome bag, which has completely fallen apart in 3. So I will never, ever be buying another one of them. Anyway, I'll be getting...
You've got a Dakine bag now.
Yeah, I'll be getting a Dakine bag. They make better quality product than almost anyone on the market. I truly believe that. Sorry about my shoes, but how good are they? Addy Crocs from Japan. I think I've done this before on this. Yeah, that's another product that I think as a pair of us, we strongly believe in. So again, if you want to come and check out their whole range, it's huge. We've got tons of stuff.
We could go on for hours and hours with this stuff and all of the products that we sell in this shop, but we don't want this to be a huge sales pitch.
This was meant to be like, hey, what do you...
Here are the highlights.
Yeah, my concept was, let's talk about the things that we truly, passionately believe in. Like, obviously, we sell a bunch of things that we have to sell in a way. Like, we have to sell crazy coloured stuff and we have to sell pink stomp pads, and I'm not passionate about them.
Yeah, and we have to sell helmets and we have to sell wrist guards and bum protectors and all the other stuff that you need to...
Snowboard accessories
on your snowboarding journey, but...
We're not passionate about them.
Yeah, I'm not passionate about wrist guards.
And we're not passionate... I mean, I'm not going to go over there and grab a beginner... what do they say in the PKs? A progression board. I'm not going to go grab you a $5.99 snowboard and tell you how good it is, because in reality, it does what it's meant to do. And we sell it because there is a market for that and we have to offer it. And... You know, I'm not going to go grab a $70 goggle either, because it's a $70 goggle. You get what you get.
Yeah. And that's what some people want and need. And
absolutely. And we'll always have that product for people who want and need it. But if you're serious about this sport and you want to spend a ton of time in the snow and enjoy it and get the most out of it, we genuinely believe there's certain products that can help you do that.
Yeah. And also, like, everybody is, like you said at the start of this, you couldn't do it for skate. But it is a little bit, like, it does cross over into snow too. Like, this is why coming into a store and talking to people and finding out what you need and want to ride for what you want to do is so tailored to your experience on snow.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I get why people want to buy a Burton Step-On, and I get why people want to buy $500 add-on goggles. I understand it. Like, there's different people out there. Like, the reality is that if you care more about what other people think, then get your $500 goggles. I don't care. You know, I understand that people want to drive Range Rovers too. I don't. It's fucking nuts, right? I do things because I want to do it. But, you know, I get where the product has a place. I get why
every product's got a place.
Yeah, I get why people want to buy a ski binding for a snowboard.
Yeah.
It's easy and convenient.
It's, for me too, with like women's snowboard, it's like there's a lot of them that I can ride all of them, but I probably wouldn't choose to ride all of them, because some of them I would probably want more out of the board than it was able to give. Yeah. And so there's different levels, there's different ranges, and like you said, boards are made for certain
absolutely.
areas and things like that. So it really comes down to personal choice for
and,
a lot of things.
Depends what you're doing too, right? A lot of people, if you're only riding in Australia, I'd honestly recommend you get a twin. And whereas if you're going to Japan, buy a directional board, buy something that's going to float. But if you're riding here most of the time, you should be riding something like that Joyride or something.
Snowboarding is a hard thing too. Well, hard thing as well. That was a fucking...
That's not the first time.
I'm so tired and I've just tripped over my words so often in this episode.
Bar.
On the chair bar. Like, when you're purchasing a product for snow, you're not like, that's where it's different with skate. You're like, cool, what do I want to ride right now? This isn't going to last me 10 years. It's going to last me maybe a year.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
So in skate, like if they're learning, so max a year. Yeah. Whereas snow, it's like, cool, I'm going to buy boots or I'm buying a board or binding that's going to last 3, 5, 10 years.
Could last 10 years if you look after it.
If you're buying the right product, then that's something that's going to see you through. So it's also this thing where you're in that moment deciding what your ability is currently and also what you want it to be in the future as well. So it's kind of this thing where you're tailoring a board to help you progress to where you want to get to, or a binding or a boot, and then you've got to buy outerwear that's going to last, sort of thing. So there's so many factors where you're not just deciding on what you want to ride this winter, but it's what you want to ride for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, I agree. And if you got through that 90-minute ad or whatever we just did, we have an awesome guest coming in for our next one. So you'll see.
Yeah.
Our first international guest. So, stay tuned.
I was going to say, let's not promote it instantly when it hasn't happened yet.
Hey, it'll happen.
Things can,
If it falls through, we'll dress someone up as an international guest. I'll bring in my mate who's Italian.
You'll just find someone off the street and be like, do you speak English? Barely. Fill it in.